You're being dramatic, David said, his voice flat as he straightened his Rolex. Marina will be here in an hour. I expect you to be gone by then. Lily laughed, and it was a sound that didn't belong to her, bitter, sharp, broken. Gone? Just like that? 5 years, David. 5 years of playing your perfect wife, and you're discarding me like yesterday's newspaper? You knew what this was. David turned toward the window, hands in his pockets, silhouette sharp against the city lights. You'll be my wife on paper only. You'll have everything, except my heart. You'll never be Marina. I told you that the day we signed the contract. And I was stupid enough to think I could change your mind. Lily's voice cracked. She hated herself for it, hated the tears burning behind her eyes. Stupid enough to fall in love with a man made of ice. David turned slightly, just enough for her to see his profile. Love? You don't love me, Lily. You love the lifestyle. The penthouse, the cars, the credit cards. Don't pretend this is about emotion. Something inside Lily snapped. She walked to the coffee table and picked up a stack of papers, divorce documents she'd already signed. She threw them at his feet. There. Your freedom. I hope she's worth it. I hope Marina gives you everything you think you remember. I hope, her voice broke completely, I hope it destroys you when you realize what you've lost. David bent down, picked up the papers, and flipped through them without emotion. My lawyer will process these Monday. You have until Sunday to clear out your things. I'll be gone tonight, Lily whispered. For the first time, something flickered across David's face, so quick she almost missed it. Surprise? Regret? It vanished before she could name it. Lily, don't. She held up her hand, stepping back. Don't say my name like it means something. You've been calling me Marina in your sleep for 5 years. I think we both know who you're really married to. She turned and walked toward the bedroom, her heels clicking against marble, each step feeling like walking away from a grave she'd been digging for herself since the day she said I do. Behind her, David stood frozen, the divorce papers in his hands, watching her disappear. Miss Parker, Mr. Chen will see you now. 23-year-old Lily Parker, not yet Lily Chen, smoothed her pencil skirt and walked into the corner office of Chen Industries. She'd researched everything about David Chen, 28 years old, self-made billionaire after inheriting his father's struggling tech company and turning it into an empire. Devastatingly handsome. Recently broken up with his longtime girlfriend, Marina Zhao, who'd left him to pursue a fashion career in Paris. And completely, utterly broken inside. David sat behind his desk, barely looking up from his laptop. You have an MBA from Stanford. Top of your class. Why do you want to be a secretary? Lily had practiced this answer. Because I want to learn from the best. I'd rather be your right hand than a middle manager somewhere else. That made him look up. His eyes were sharp, assessing, cold. My last 3 secretaries quit within 6 months. I'm demanding. Perfectionist. I don't tolerate mistakes. I don't make mistakes, Mr. Chen. A ghost of a smile touched his lips. We'll see. You start Monday. 6 months later, Lily had proven herself indispensable. She anticipated his needs before he voiced them, managed his calendar flawlessly, handled difficult clients with grace. She worked 16-hour days and never complained. She also watched him deteriorate. David threw himself into work like a drowning man grasping at air. He barely ate, barely slept. She'd find him at 3 a.m. still at his desk, staring at his phone, at old photos of Marina, Lily realized with a sinking heart. Then his grandmother fell ill. She won't let me inherit her shares unless I'm married, David told Lily one night, the only time she'd ever seen him drink. They were alone in his office, New York sparkling below them, a bottle of whiskey between them. She thinks I'm wasting my life, that I need someone to settle me. She doesn't understand that the person I wanted to marry chose Paris over me. Lily shouldn't have said it. Shouldn't have let the whiskey and the loneliness and her stupid, foolish heart speak for her. I'll marry you. David's head snapped up. What? I'll marry you. Lily leaned forward, her heart hammering. A business arrangement. I'll be your wife for your grandmother. In exchange, you give me stock options, a salary increase, and security. Lily. I know you don't love me, she continued, the words tumbling out. I know I'm not Marina. I'm not asking for your heart, Mr. Chen. I'm asking for a contract. Isn't that what you do best? Make deals? David stared at her for a long moment. Then he poured them both another drink. You'll be my wife on paper only, he said slowly, his voice rough. You'll have everything, except my heart. You'll never be Marina. Can you accept that? Lily picked up her glass. Her hand didn't shake. Her heart was breaking, but her hand didn't shake. I accept. They clinked glasses, and Lily sealed her fate. The wedding was small. David's grandmother, beaming in her wheelchair. A handful of business associates. No friends, no family for Lily. She'd told David her parents were dead, which wasn't entirely a lie. Dead to her, anyway. The ceremony was efficient, almost cold. David slipped a platinum band on her finger that probably cost more than most people's cars. When the officiant said, "You may kiss the bride," David's lips barely grazed hers, a ghost of a kiss, there and gone. His grandmother cried tears of joy. Lily smiled perfectly for the photos. And when they returned to the penthouse that night, her first night as Mrs. Chen, David handed her a key to the guest bedroom. This is your room, he said. Mine is down the hall. We'll maintain separate spaces. Of course, Lily replied, her smile never faltering. 5 years passed like a slow death. Lily perfected the art of being invisible. By day, she was David's impeccable secretary, managing his empire, handling crises, making him look like a genius when really, she was the one orchestrating everything behind the scenes. By night, she was his ghost wife, present at charity galas and business dinners, smiling perfectly, saying all the right things, then disappearing into her separate bedroom. The world saw a power couple. Only Lily knew the truth. David, your mother called about Thanksgiving, Lily said one November morning, setting his coffee exactly how he liked it, 2 sugars, splash of cream, 180 degrees. Tell her we'll be there. David didn't look up from his tablet. She specifically asked if we're trying for children. That made him look up. His jaw tightened. Tell her we're focused on our careers. Of course. Lily turned to leave. Lily. She paused, her heart doing that stupid flutter it always did when he said her name. Yes? You coordinated the Singapore deal perfectly. The clients were impressed. It was the closest thing to a compliment she'd received in months. Thank you, Mr. Chen. David, he corrected softly. When we're alone, it's David. But they were never really alone, were they? Marina's ghost lived in every room, in every silence, in every moment David's eyes went distant. The nights were worse. Lily would lie in her bed, hearing David move around in his room down the hall. Sometimes she'd hear him on the phone, his voice rough with longing. Marina, it's 2 a.m. in Paris. I know, I needed to hear your voice. Those nights, Lily would press her face into her pillow and cry silently, her body shaking with sobs she couldn't let him hear. But what David didn't know, what he could never have suspected, was that Lily wasn't just crying. She was planning. Every document she filed, she copied. Every business secret she learned, she recorded. Every vulnerable moment of David she witnessed, she catalogued. Not for love. Not anymore. For survival. And maybe, just maybe, for revenge. The 4th anniversary of their marriage fell on a Tuesday. Lily had foolishly hoped, even after 4 years of evidence to the contrary, that David might remember. She'd bought him a vintage watch she'd seen him eyeing in an auction catalog. Nothing extravagant, just thoughtful. She waited all day. Through morning meetings. Through lunch. Through the afternoon conference calls. At 8 p.m., David called from the office, I'll be late. The Tokyo merger needs my attention. Don't wait up. Lily hung up the phone and stared at the anniversary card she'd written. Then she tore it into pieces and threw it in the trash. That night, everything changed. She opened her laptop and sent an email she'd been drafting in her mind for months. Mr. Marcus Chen, I believe we have mutual interests regarding your brother's company. I'd like to meet. Star. Marcus Chen, David's older half-brother, cut out of their father's will years ago in a bitter family dispute. David never spoke about him, which told Lily everything she needed to know. The reply came within an hour, the Park Hyatt. Tomorrow. 2 p.m. Come alone. Marcus Chen looked nothing like David. Where David was all sharp angles and cold calculation, Marcus was warm smiles and easy charm. He stood when Lily entered the hotel bar, his handshake firm. Mrs. Chen. Or should I say, the woman who actually runs Chen Industries? Lily sat across from him, her designer handbag, a gift from David's mother, never from David himself, resting on her lap. You've been watching. I've been waiting. Marcus signaled the waiter for 2 whiskeys. Waiting for my dear brother to screw up badly enough that someone on the inside would get smart. I just didn't expect it to be his own wife. I'm not his wife, Lily said quietly. I'm his employee. His prop. His ghost. Then let's make you something more. Marcus leaned forward, his eyes intense. Let's make you the thing he fears most, his destruction. Lily's pulse quickened. What are you proposing? My brother stole my inheritance, used family connections and legal manipulation to cut me out of everything our father built. David got the empire. I got nothing. Marcus's smile was sharp as a blade. But I built my own company now. Smaller, but growing. What I lack is inside information. Strategic intelligence. The kind of knowledge only someone in David's inner circle would have. And what do I get? Freedom. Money. And the satisfaction of watching him crumble. Marcus slid a folder across the table. Open it. Lily did. Inside were bank statements, legal documents, evidence of corporate fraud dating back to David's father. Her breath caught. David's empire is built on quicksand, Marcus explained. His father made dirty deals, cut corners, destroyed competitors through illegal means. David inherited it all, the success and the crimes. He just doesn't know how dirty his hands really are. You want me to expose him? I want you to help me take everything. Systematically, legally. Marcus's eyes glittered. But first, we need leverage. We need him vulnerable, distracted, emotional. We need him to make mistakes. Lily closed the folder, her mind racing. Marina. Marcus raised an eyebrow. The ex-girlfriend in Paris? What about her? He's never stopped loving her. If she came back, Lily's voice was steady, but her heart hammered. He'd be distracted. Emotional. He'd make mistakes. Can you get her back here? Marina and I were college roommates. Lily smiled, and it wasn't a nice smile. She owes me a favor. A big one. Marcus laughed, delighted. My brother married a strategist and treated her like a servant. His loss will be legendary. They clinked glasses, and Lily felt something shift inside her, the last piece of her heart that loved David Chen finally turning to stone. That night, Lily made the phone call that would change everything. Lily? Oh my God, it's been years. Marina's voice was bright with surprise, tinged with a French accent she'd definitely picked up on purpose. How are you? How's the secretary job? I'm not a secretary anymore, Marina. I'm David Chen's wife. The silence on the other end was delicious. You married David? My David? Your David? Lily's voice was honey-sweet and poisonous. Marina, you left him. You chose Paris over him. He was never yours to begin with. I didn't know you two even knew each other. We met after you left. He was broken, Marina. Utterly destroyed by your rejection. I picked up the pieces. Lily paused for effect. But he still loves you. Did you know that? 5 years married to me, and he still whispers your name in his sleep. Lily, why are you telling me this? Because your fashion company is failing. I've seen the reports, you're 6 months from bankruptcy, and because I'm about to offer you $500,000 to come back to New York for 3 months. Another long silence. Then, carefully, to do what? To remind David what he lost. To seduce him, break him, make him desperate. Lily's voice hardened. And then, when I file for divorce, to disappear again. Leave him with nothing. You want me to break his heart for money? I want you to finish what you started. You broke him once. Help me break him completely. Marina was quiet for a long moment. Then, when do I arrive? Lily smiled in the darkness of her lonely bedroom. Next month. I'll send details. She hung up and stared at her reflection in the window, a ghost looking back at her. She barely recognized herself anymore. Her phone buzzed. A text from David, * still at office. Don't wait up. She typed back, * I never do. Then she opened her laptop and began documenting everything, every shady deal, every questionable contract, every skeleton in Chen Industries' closet. If she was going to burn David's world down, she'd make sure the flames were spectacular. 1 month later. David, there's someone here to see you. Lily stood in David's office doorway, her face carefully neutral. Behind her, Marina Zhao walked in like she owned the place, designer dress, perfect makeup, confidence radiating from every pore. David looked up from his computer, and Lily watched the color drain from his face. Marina? Hello, David. Marina's smile was radiant. Surprise. David stood slowly, like a man in a dream. What are you doing here? My company opened a New York branch. I'll be here for a few months. Marina glanced at Lily with perfectly acted surprise. Oh. Lily, I didn't realize you worked here. Small world. Very small, Lily murmured. David's eyes were fixed on Marina like she was the sun and he'd been living in darkness. You look incredible. You look tired. Marina moved closer, her voice soft with concern. Are you taking care of yourself? And just like that, Lily became invisible again. She watched them talk, watched David smile, really smile, for the first time in years. Watched him laugh at Marina's stories about Paris. Watched him become someone she'd never seen before, happy. It should have felt like victory. She'd orchestrated this, after all. Instead, it felt like dying. Well, Lily said softly, I'll leave you two to catch up. David, your 4 p.m. meeting is in conference room B. David barely glanced at her. Cancel it. Clear my afternoon. Of course. Lily walked back to her desk, closed her office door, and allowed herself exactly 60 seconds to feel the pain. 60 seconds to let the tears fall. 60 seconds to grieve the man she'd loved who had never loved her back. Then she wiped her eyes, pulled out her phone, and texted Marcus, * phase 1 complete, he's hooked. Marcus's reply was immediate, * beautiful. Now we start the real work. Are you ready? Lily looked through her office window at David and Marina, their heads close together, laughing like old lovers reunited. She typed back, * I'm ready to watch him burn. It happened faster than even Lily had anticipated. 3 weeks of Marina constantly around, lunch meetings that turned into dinners, dinners that turned into late-night drinks. 3 weeks of David transforming into someone Lily had never met, attentive, romantic, alive. 3 weeks of Lily being pushed further and further into the shadows. She came home early one Thursday, rare for her, but she'd been feeling nauseous all week, to find Marina in the penthouse. In her home. Redecorating. Oh, Lily. Marina didn't even have the grace to look embarrassed. David gave me his key. I thought I'd surprise him with some updates. This place is so cold, don't you think? Lily set down her bag slowly. This is my home, Marina. Well, about that, Marina's smile was sharp. David and I have been talking. About us. About our future. The floor seemed to tilt under Lily's feet. What? He's going to ask you for a divorce. Tonight, actually. Marina examined her manicure. I wanted to give you a heads up. Professional courtesy, you know? Since we used to be friends. Used to be, Lily repeated numbly. Oh, don't be dramatic. You got 5 years of luxury. That's more than most mistresses get. I'm not his mistress. I'm his wife. On paper. Marina waved dismissively. But we both know who he really loves. Who he's always loved. The key turned in the lock. David walked in, stopping short when he saw them both. Marina? I thought we were meeting at the restaurant. His eyes landed on Lily. You're home early. Apparently not early enough. Lily's voice was remarkably steady. Marina tells me you want a divorce. David had the decency to look uncomfortable. He loosened his tie. I was going to talk to you tonight. Properly. By properly, do you mean after your girlfriend redecorated my home? Lily. Don't. She held up her hand. Just say it, David. Say what you've been thinking for 5 years. David's jaw tightened. He glanced at Marina, then back at Lily. I want a divorce. Marina's back. This was always temporary. You knew that. I did, Lily agreed softly. I just thought, never mind what I thought. You'll be well compensated. The prenup is generous. I don't want your money, David. That surprised him. Then what do you want? I want you to say it. I want you to say that I meant nothing, that 5 years of me managing your life, your company, your entire existence meant absolutely nothing to you. David's face was carved from stone. This was a business arrangement. We both knew the terms. Say it. Lily's voice cracked. Say I meant nothing. You meant nothing. David shouted back, and the words hung in the air like poison. Then, quieter, crueler, you were convenient, Lily. Efficient. But you were never Marina. You could never be Marina. Lily felt something inside her shatter completely, the last fragile hope she'd been clutching without even realizing it. Okay, she whispered. Okay. She walked to her bedroom, pulled out the suitcase she'd already packed weeks ago, preparing for this moment. When she emerged, David and Marina were on the couch, his arm around her shoulders. Lily set a USB drive on the coffee table. What's that? David asked. 5 years of your life. Everything I did for you. Every deal I saved, every crisis I managed, every decision I helped you make. It's all there. Good luck remembering how to function without me. She walked to the door, then paused. Oh, and David? Check your offshore accounts in 30 days. You'll understand what I was really doing all this time. What the hell does that mean? Lily smiled, and it was terrifying. It means you should have read the fine print in our prenup. The clause about intellectual property rights to business strategies developed during the marriage. The clause about shared liability for corporate decisions. The clause your lawyers buried that you never bothered to read. David's face went white. Lily. Congratulations on your freedom. I hope she's worth everything you're about to lose. Lily walked out, and the door clicked shut behind her with a finality that felt like death and rebirth all at once. In the elevator, her phone buzzed. Marcus, I'm outside. Ready for phase 2? Lily looked at her reflection in the polished elevator doors. She barely recognized the woman staring back. She typed, "Let's destroy him." What Lily didn't know, what she couldn't have known, was that David stood frozen in his penthouse, the USB drive in his hands, Marina chattering about furniture beside him, and for the first time in 5 years, David felt something besides numbness. He felt loss. He plugged in the USB drive, and what he found made his blood run cold. Files. Hundreds of them. Every business deal, every strategy, every decision from the past 5 years. And in every single one, Lily's fingerprints. Her notes. Her solutions. Her genius. He clicked on a video file dated 3 years ago. Lily appeared on screen, alone in the office late at night. Video log, December 15th. David thinks the Singapore merger was his idea. It wasn't. I planted the seed 6 months ago, orchestrated every meeting, coached him through every negotiation. He thinks he's brilliant. He's just good at taking credit. Another file. The Tokyo deal. The London expansion. The breakthrough with Chen Industries' new AI division, all mine. Every revolutionary idea he's claimed, every triumph, I was the architect. He was just the face. David's hand shook as he clicked through file after file, watching 5 years of his success revealed as someone else's work. Lily's work. But it was the final video that broke him. Lily on screen, dated 1 week ago. Her eyes red from crying. This is my last entry. Tomorrow, Marina arrives. My plan with Marcus Chen is in motion. David will ask for divorce within a month, I've made sure of it. And when he does, he'll discover that his empire was never really his. It was mine. And I'm taking it with me. She paused, wiping her eyes. I came to destroy David Chen 5 years ago. His company stole my father's patent, buried him in legal fees, drove him to suicide. I was 19 when I found him. I spent 6 years planning revenge. David's world tilted. But I made a mistake, Lily continued, her voice breaking. I fell in love with him. Real, stupid, devastating love. So I had a choice, destroy him or save him. I thought I could do both. I thought I could love him and hate him and somehow find peace. I was wrong. She looked directly at the camera, tears streaming down her face. So here's what I'm going to do, David. I'm going to take everything. Your company. Your reputation. Your future. Marcus Chen and I have enough evidence to bury you in lawsuits for years. We have proof of your father's crimes, crimes you've profited from. We have documentation of every shady deal, every corner cut, every illegal move. Lily's smile was broken and terrible. But here's the twist, I'm also going to save you. Because despite everything, I can't watch you burn. So in that USB drive, there's also exculpatory evidence. Proof that you didn't know about your father's crimes. Proof that clears you of criminal liability. I could have destroyed you completely. Instead, I'm giving you a chance. She stood up, preparing to turn off the camera. The choice is yours, David. Use the evidence to save yourself, or let your pride destroy you. Either way, we're done. By the time you see this, I'll be gone, and maybe, if there's any justice in this world, you'll finally understand what you lost. The video ended. David sat in darkness, the USB drive in his trembling hands, Marina's voice a distant buzz he couldn't process. He'd lost everything. And he hadn't even known what he had until it was gone. His phone rang. Unknown number. He answered without thinking. Hello? David Chen? A man's voice, smooth and cold. This is Marcus Chen. Your brother. We need to talk about your wife. Or should I say, my business partner? The line went dead. David looked at Marina, beautiful and vapid in everything he thought he wanted. And realized he'd made the biggest mistake of his life. David didn't sleep that night. He sat in his office, the USB drive's contents spread across 3 monitors, watching his empire reveal itself as a house of cards built by someone else's hands. Every brilliant strategy, every game-changing decision, every moment he'd felt like a genius, all Lily. Marina had left hours ago, annoyed by his distraction. Call me when you're done with whatever this is, she'd said, kissing his cheek. He barely noticed. At 6 a.m., his phone rang. Marcus Chen. Did you enjoy the show? Marcus's voice was smooth as poison. Your wife, sorry, ex-wife, is quite the storyteller. What do you want? David's voice was raw. What I've always wanted. Chen Industries. But here's the thing, little brother, Lily doesn't want to destroy you anymore. She's got a conscience, unfortunately. Me? I don't. Marcus laughed. So here's how this plays, you have evidence that could save you from criminal charges. But I have evidence that could bury you in civil suits for decades. Your choice, sign over 30% of Chen Industries to me, or spend the next 10 years in court. You're blackmailing me. I'm collecting what's owed. Our father cut me out. You benefited. Time to pay up. Marcus paused. Oh, and David? Lily's pregnant. David's world stopped. What? Didn't she tell you? Found out 2 weeks ago. Don't worry, it's not yours. She used a donor. She wanted something of her own, something you couldn't taint with your indifference. Marcus's voice turned cruel. How does it feel, David? Knowing she'd rather raise a stranger's child alone than have anything of yours? The line went dead. David's hand shook as he dialed Lily's number. Straight to voicemail. He tried again. And again. 10 times, 20, each voicemail more desperate than the last. Lily, please. We need to talk. I know about your father. I know about Marcus. I know about everything. Please, just, call me back. Nothing. He called his private investigator. Find Lily Chen. I don't care what it costs. Find her now. 3 days later, David discovered the second betrayal. He'd been working 18-hour days, trying to hold his company together as deals mysteriously fell through, clients suddenly left, competitors somehow knew his every move. Chen Industries was hemorrhaging money, and he couldn't stop the bleeding. Then his CFO walked into his office, ashen-faced. Sir, we have a problem. Someone's been moving money from our offshore accounts. Millions. And the transfers are authorized with your signature. That's impossible. I haven't authorized, David stopped. The prenup clause. Shared liability for corporate decisions. Lily. There's more. The CFO handed him a tablet. These transfers started 3 years ago. Whoever did this has been systematically siphoning funds and we never noticed because the amounts were small enough to hide in quarterly reports. David scrolled through the transfers, his stomach sinking. The money was going to shell companies, investment accounts, charitable foundations, all untraceable. All legal. All authorized by signatures that looked exactly like his. How much? $47 million. David's vision blurred. Lily had been planning this for years. Years of pretending to be his loyal wife while slowly dismantling everything he'd built. His phone rang. Marina. David, darling, we need to talk. Her voice was strange, too bright, too nervous. I'm busy. It's about Lily. About everything. Marina paused. I need to tell you something. Can you meet me at the plaza? Room 2804? Something in her tone made David's instinct scream. Why can't you tell me over the phone? Because I'm afraid someone's listening. Please, David. It's important. Against his better judgment, David went. Marina opened the hotel room door wearing guilt like a second skin. You look terrible, she said softly. What do you know about Lily? David walked past her into the suite. What aren't you telling me? Marina poured herself a drink with shaking hands. I need you to understand, I needed the money. My company was drowning, and she offered me $500,000. David grabbed her arm. What are you talking about? Lily paid me to come back. Marina's words tumbled out in a rush. She contacted me 2 months ago, said she wanted to divorce you but needed you distracted, emotional, making mistakes. She paid me to seduce you, to make you fall for me again, so when she filed for divorce, you'd be too devastated to think clearly. David released her like she was burning him. You're lying. I wish I was. Marina's eyes filled with tears. I was supposed to disappear after the divorce. Leave you broken. But David, there's more. She's working with your brother. They've been planning this for years. Marcus wants revenge for being cut out of the company. Lily wants revenge for something about her father. I know about her father. David's voice was dead. My father's company destroyed him. Drove him to suicide. She's been planning revenge since before we met. That's not all. Marina moved to her purse, pulled out a folder. I found these. Lily left them in your penthouse. I think she wanted you to find them eventually. Medical records. David opened the folder. His hands began to shake. You're infertile, David. You have been for years, something about a childhood illness. Those records are from a test done 6 months into your marriage. Marina's voice was gentle, pitying. She knew. She's always known. The world tilted. David remembered Lily's words, she's pregnant. It's not yours. She used a donor. Lily had known for years that they could never have children together. And she'd never told him. Never gave him the chance to grieve that future, to make that choice. Why are you telling me this? David asked hollowly. Why betray her now? Because Marcus double-crossed me. Marina's voice turned bitter. He was supposed to pay me the other $500,000 after the divorce. Instead, he threatened to expose me unless I helped him destroy you completely. I'm not a monster, David. I came back for money, but I'm not going to help them destroy you. David laughed, and it was a broken sound. Everyone I've ever cared about has betrayed me. My father built an empire on crimes I'm now liable for. My brother wants to steal everything. My wife spent 5 years planning my destruction. And you sold yourself for $500,000. David. Get out. His voice was cold as death. Get out before I do something we'll both regret. Marina grabbed her purse and fled. David stood alone in the hotel suite, surrounded by evidence of his destruction, and felt something inside him crack completely. He pulled out his phone and called the one person he knew could help. Mother? I need you. Helen Chen arrived at David's penthouse within an hour, her elegant face creased with worry. David, what's happened? You sounded. She stopped when she saw him, unshaven, disheveled, eyes hollow. Oh, my son. Lily's gone. David's voice cracked. She's been planning to destroy me for 5 years. Her father, my father's company destroyed her father, and she married me for revenge. Helen sat down slowly, her face draining of color. Parker. Her maiden name was Parker? Yes. Why? His mother closed her eyes. Oh God. James Parker. The patent case from 12 years ago, you knew about it? Your father told me on his deathbed. Helen's voice shook. He said it was the one thing he regretted. James Parker had revolutionary technology, something that could have changed renewable energy forever. But your father wanted it for Chen Industries. He used legal manipulation, tied Parker up in lawsuits he couldn't afford. James Parker killed himself 6 months into the litigation. Lily was his daughter. She must have been a teenager. Helen looked at her son with heartbreak in her eyes. David, what did you do to that girl? How did you treat her? Like she was nothing. The words tasted like ash. Like she was invisible. For 5 years, Mother. 5 years of her managing my entire life, loving me, his voice broke, and I treated her like hired help. I called her Marina in my sleep. I told her she'd never be Marina. Helen's eyes filled with tears. You idiot boy. I know. No, you don't. Helen stood, her voice sharp with anger. That girl came to see me every single week for 5 years. Every Wednesday at 2 p.m., like clockwork. She'd bring me tea, ask about my health, listen to my stories. She held my hand through your father's death. She cried with me at his funeral, cried for a man who destroyed her own father. David's chest felt like it was caving in. What? She never missed a visit. Not once. And you know what she asked me, every single time? Helen's voice broke. She asked how you were. Is David eating? Is he sleeping? Is he taking care of himself? That girl loved you with everything she had, and you destroyed her for a ghost. Marina. Marina is a selfish, shallow woman who left you the moment something shinier came along. Helen's voice cracked like a whip. Lily stayed. She stayed through your coldness, your indifference, your cruelty. She stayed and loved you and managed your entire world, and you never even saw her. David sank onto the couch, his head in his hands. What do I do? You find her. You beg for forgiveness. And you pray she's merciful enough to let you even speak to her. Helen moved to the door, then paused. David? Lily gave me something before she left. She said to give it to you only if you truly understood what you'd lost. She handed him a small box. Inside was a USB drive labeled The Truth and a letter. David's hands shook as he unfolded the paper. David, if you're reading this, your mother decided you're finally ready to understand. I came to destroy you. That part is true. I spent 6 years planning it, college, business school, positioning myself to work for you, learning everything about you and your company. I was going to take everything and watch you suffer the way my father suffered. But then I made a mistake. I fell in love with you. I don't know when it happened. Maybe it was the night you worked 30 hours straight to save that failing division, refusing to let 200 people lose their jobs. Maybe it was the way you cried at your father's funeral, trying to hide your tears from everyone. Maybe it was the small moments, the way you always said please and thank you even when you were stressed, the way you remembered your assistant's daughter's birthday, the way you fed the stray cat in the parking garage when you thought no one was watching. You weren't the monster I wanted you to be. You were just a man, broken by loss, using work to fill the void where love should be. So I changed my plan. Instead of destroying you, I decided to save you. I'd build your empire legitimately, undo your father's crimes quietly, and protect you from the consequences of sins you never committed. And maybe, just maybe, you'd eventually see me. Really see me. I was wrong. 5 years, David. 5 years of loving you, managing your life, building your success. 5 years of being invisible. 5 years of being not Marina. The money I moved? It's in accounts that clear you of your father's illegal activities. Every dollar is documented, every transaction legal. I've been systematically cleaning up his mess so you wouldn't go to prison for his crimes. Marcus? I was using him as much as he thought he was using me. I gave him just enough information to think he was winning while I collected evidence against him. The USB drive in this box contains everything, proof that Marcus has been committing corporate espionage, fraud, attempted extortion. Enough to put him in prison and keep him away from your company forever. Marina? I did pay her to come back. I needed you to ask for divorce so I could leave without the guilt of breaking my vows. Pathetic, right? Even in the end, I was protecting you from the consequences of leaving me. Here's what you don't know, I'm pregnant. It's yours. The medical records Marina showed you were forged, Marcus's work. You're not infertile, David. We created a life together during one of the few times you came to my room, so drunk you probably don't remember. You cried that night, said you missed your father, said you were lonely. We made love, and you held me and whispered, "Don't leave me." In the morning, you didn't remember any of it. I found out I was pregnant 3 weeks ago. The same week I set my plan in motion. I was going to tell you, but then Marina came back, and you looked at her the way you've never looked at me, and I realized, I don't want to raise our child in a home without love. So I'm leaving. I'm keeping our baby, and I'm disappearing. You'll never find me because I don't want to be found. This child will know they're loved, wanted, cherished, everything I never was to you. The USB drive has everything you need, evidence to clear you, evidence to destroy Marcus, proof of your father's crimes and your innocence. Use it wisely. By the time you read this, I'll be gone. Don't look for me. Don't try to fix this. Some things are too broken to repair. I loved you, David. That's the tragedy. I loved you, and it was never enough to make you love me back. Goodbye. Lily. P.S. The offshore accounts? The 47 million? That's yours. I've been investing your money, growing it, protecting it. It's all in account 8473 at First National. The password is Marina S. Ghost. I thought you'd appreciate the irony. David's tears fell onto the paper, blurring the ink. He clicked on the USB drive with shaking hands. And there it was, everything she'd promised. Evidence that would save him, destroy Marcus, clear his name. 5 years of work, documented meticulously, protecting him from consequences he never even knew existed. She'd spent 5 years loving him so completely that even in her revenge, even in her escape, she was still saving him. And he'd thrown it away for a memory that was never as real as the woman right in front of him. David hired 4 private investigators. 2 weeks later, they came back empty-handed. Sir, it's like she vanished into thin air. No credit card activity, no phone records, no paper trail. She's either using cash only or she's using a completely new identity. Find her. David's voice was steel. I don't care what it costs. I don't care how long it takes. Find her. But weeks turned into months, and Lily remained a ghost. David threw himself into fixing his company, using Lily's evidence to navigate the legal minefield his father had created. He had Marcus arrested for corporate espionage, his brother screaming threats as he was dragged away in handcuffs. He built a foundation in James Parker's name, Lily's father, dedicating it to helping inventors protect their patents. He publicly apologized for his father's crimes, returned stolen technology, made amends where he could. He became the man Lily had always seen in him, the man he should have been all along. But she wasn't there to see it. His mother visited every Wednesday, sitting in the chair where Lily used to sit during her visits. Have you found her? Helen asked gently. No, David's voice was hollow. It's like she never existed. She existed. She loved you, and you let her go. Helen stood, placing a hand on his shoulder. Maybe that's your punishment, David. Not legal consequences or business failures. Just living with the knowledge of what you had and destroyed. After she left, David sat in his empty penthouse, Marina's redecoration stripped away, everything returned to how Lily had arranged it, and felt the weight of his loss crushing him. He pulled out his phone and did what he'd done every night for 4 months. He called her number. And for the first time, instead of voicemail, it rang. Once. Twice. 3 times. Then, a voice, hello? David's heart stopped. Lily? A pause. Then, yes. Where are you? Please, I need to see you. I know what you need, David. Her voice was different, stronger, colder. I read your emails. All 347 of them. I listen to your voicemails. Every desperate plea. Then you know I'm sorry. You know I understand now. I know you're sorry you lost your assistant. Your strategist. The woman who made you successful. Lily's voice was sharp as broken glass. I know you're sorry you're alone. But are you sorry you never loved me? Can you even apologize for that? I did love you. David's voice cracked. I do love you. I was just too blind, too stupid, too broken to see it until you were gone. Love? Lily laughed bitterly. You don't even know what that word means. You loved Marina. You loved the idea of her. You loved your company. But me? You tolerated me. I was convenient. That's not. Tell me something, David. What's my favorite color? David opened his mouth. Closed it. His mind was blank. What's my favorite food? My favorite book? My middle name? Where did I grow up? What did I want to be when I was a child? Lily's voice broke. You were married to me for 5 years, and you don't know the first thing about me, then let me learn. David was begging now, tears streaming down his face. Let me learn everything. Give me a chance to know you, to see you, to love you the way I should have from the beginning. Silence stretched between them. Then, I'm in Portland. There's a bookshop on Morrison Street called New Chapters. I'll be there tomorrow at noon. Come alone. Don't bring flowers, don't bring gifts. Just bring honesty. Lily, and David? I'm 8 months pregnant. If you're not ready to see me carrying your child, don't come at all. The line went dead. David stood frozen, his phone in his shaking hand, the words echoing in his mind, I'm 8 months pregnant. His child. Their child. A life he'd never known existed. He booked a flight to Portland for 6 a.m. David stood outside New Chapters bookshop at 11:45 a.m., his heart hammering against his ribs. The shop was small, cozy, with large windows displaying used books and a hand-painted sign that read every ending is a new beginning. Through the glass, he could see her. Lily. She sat in a worn armchair near the window, one hand resting on her swollen belly, the other holding a book. Her hair was longer, softer. She wore a simple blue dress, cornflower blue, he realized suddenly, wondering if that was her favorite color he'd never bothered to learn. She looked up, met his eyes through the window, and the world stopped. David pushed open the door. A bell chimed. You came, Lily said softly, not standing. Did you think I wouldn't? David stayed near the door, afraid to move closer, afraid she'd disappear if he breathed wrong. Honestly? I gave it 50-50 odds. Lily closed her book, Pride and Prejudice, he noticed. You were never good at uncomfortable conversations. I'm here now. I'm ready to have every uncomfortable conversation we never had. David took a tentative step forward. Lily, before you start with apologies, I need you to understand something. Lily stood slowly, one hand supporting her back. She was radiant, glowing with pregnancy, and David felt his throat close with emotion. I didn't ask you here for a reconciliation. I asked you here because our child deserves to know their father. That's all this is. Lily, please. What's my middle name, David? He stopped. Swallowed hard. I don't know. Rose. Lily Rose Parker. She moved to a shelf, running her fingers along the spines of books. My father used to call me his little flower. 2 flowers in one name. He said I was twice as beautiful as either alone. Tell me more, David whispered. Tell me everything. Lily turned to face him, and her eyes were bright with unshed tears. Why? So you can memorize facts about me and pretend you cared all along? No. So I can know the woman I loved and was too blind to see. David took another step. You asked if I can apologize for not loving you. I can't. Because it would be a lie. Lily flinched as if struck. I loved you, David continued, his voice raw. I loved you from the moment you told me you don't make mistakes. I loved you when you stayed late to help me with the Singapore deal. I loved you when you held my hand at my father's funeral and didn't let go even when I tried to pull away. I loved you every single day of our marriage. Then why? Because I was terrified. David's voice cracked. Marina left me for her dreams, and it destroyed me. I built walls so high that no one could leave me again because no one could get close enough to matter. And you? You climbed those walls every single day. You got closer than anyone, and it terrified me so much that I pushed you away harder. Lily wiped at her eyes. That's not love, David. That's cowardice. You're right. It was. I was a coward. David closed the distance between them, stopping just out of reach. I called you Marina in my sleep because I was trying to convince myself that's who I wanted. If I wanted Marina, someone gone, someone safe, someone who couldn't hurt me, then I didn't have to face the truth. What truth? That I was falling in love with my wife. That you were everything Marina never was, loyal, brilliant, kind, real. David's hands shook. That losing you would destroy me worse than Marina ever could, because you actually knew me. The real me, not the image, and you stayed anyway. Lily sank back into her chair, her hand on her belly. You can't just say these things now and expect. I don't expect anything, David interrupted gently. I'm not here to win you back. I'm here to tell you the truth, even if it's 5 years too late. Then tell me. Lily's voice was barely audible. Tell me the truth about everything. David pulled over a chair and sat across from her, maintaining distance, respecting her space. I remember that night. The night we conceived our child. Lily's head snapped up. You said you didn't. I lied. To you, to myself. David's eyes were wet. I remembered every second. Coming to your room, drunk and broken, crying about my father. You held me. You didn't judge me, didn't tell me to be stronger. You just held me and let me fall apart. David. We made love, and it was the most real thing I'd ever felt. I whispered don't leave me because in that moment, I knew. I knew you were everything I needed, everything I was too damaged to accept. David wiped his eyes roughly. The next morning, I pretended I didn't remember because if I admitted I remembered, I'd have to admit I loved you. And I wasn't brave enough. Lily's tears fell freely now. You're telling me this now? When I finally built a life without you? I'm telling you because you deserve the truth. You deserved it 5 years ago. David leaned forward, his voice intense. Lily Rose Parker Chen, you are the bravest person I've ever met. You came to destroy me and ended up saving me instead. You loved me when I gave you nothing but coldness. You carried my child and planned to raise them alone rather than trap me in obligation. Stop. Your favorite color is cornflower blue. You wear it when you want to feel confident. David's voice grew stronger. Your favorite food is your grandmother's pumpkin soup, she made it every Sunday, and you cried the first autumn after she died because you couldn't remember the recipe. Your favorite book is Pride and Prejudice because you identify with Elizabeth Bennet, smart, overlooked, underestimated. Lily stared at him, shock written across her face. You wanted to be a teacher when you were young because your second-grade teacher, Mrs. Patterson, told you that you had a gift for making complicated things simple. David counted off on his fingers. You're allergic to shellfish. You hate horror movies but love psychological thrillers. You can't sleep without a fan running because you grew up near the ocean and the white noise comforts you. How do you? Your mother. David smiled sadly. After you left, I called every Parker in the country. It took me 3 weeks to find her. She lives in Seattle now, remarried, and she hasn't spoken to you since you were 18 because she blamed you for your father's depression. Lily's face crumpled. You talked to my mother? For 6 hours. She told me everything, about your father, about his dreams, about how you found him. David's voice gentled. About how you were just 19, alone, and you blamed yourself. How you spent 6 years planning revenge because you thought it would ease the pain. It didn't, Lily whispered. It just made me more empty. I know. Because revenge isn't what you wanted. You wanted your father back. You wanted someone to acknowledge that his life mattered, that his dreams mattered, that his death meant something. David pulled out a folder. So I made sure it did. Lily took the folder with shaking hands. Inside were documents, official papers, legal filings, photographs. The Parker Foundation for Independent Inventors, David explained. Funded with $50 million, the money you invested for me, plus everything I could liquidate. It provides free legal protection for inventors, grants for research, and support for families affected by corporate patent theft. Lily's tears fell onto the pages. The first grant recipient was a woman in Ohio whose husband killed himself after a corporation stole his medical device patent. The foundation paid her legal fees, got her patent back, and licensed it properly. She's made $3 million so far. David's voice was thick with emotion. Your father's death saved her family. His legacy is saving others. David, I can't. There's more. David pulled out a photo. This is the James Parker Innovation Center at Stanford. Fully funded. Opening next year. It'll teach business ethics, patent law, and provide mentorship for young inventors. Your father's name will live on in every student who walks through those doors. Lily covered her face with her hands, her shoulders shaking. David waited, letting her cry, wishing he could hold her but knowing he'd lost that right. Finally, Lily lowered her hands. Why are you doing this? Because I can't give you back the 5 years I stole. I can't undo the pain I caused. But I can honor your father's memory. I can be the man you believed I could be, even if you never see it. David paused. And because our child should grow up knowing their grandfather was a hero, not a tragedy. Our child. Lily's hand went to her belly. A daughter. I found out last week. David's breath caught. A daughter? I was going to name her Rose. After my middle name, after my father's nickname for me. Lily met his eyes. But I think I want to name her Hope, because she's teaching me that endings don't have to be bitter. Hope Chen, David whispered. It's perfect. They sat in silence, the weight of 5 years hanging between them. Marina came to see me, Lily said finally. David tensed. When? Last month. She'd heard through the grapevine that I was pregnant, that you were looking for me. Lily's voice was steady. She wanted to apologize. Said she'd been selfish, that she'd taken your money and run back to Paris, that she felt guilty. Do you believe her? I believe she felt guilty about getting caught. Lily smiled without humor. She also asked if you and I were getting back together. When I said no, she asked for your number. David's jaw clenched. What did you tell her? I told her that you're not a prize to be won, not a bank account to be accessed, not a second chance waiting to happen. Lily's eyes were fierce. I told her that if she ever contacts you again, I'll make sure everyone knows she took money to seduce a married man. Her reputation would never recover. Despite everything, David felt warmth spread through his chest. You protected me. I protected our daughter from having a gold digger sniffing around her father. Lily's voice softened. But yes. I protected you. Old habits. Lily. I need to tell you something. Lily took a deep breath. I forgive you. David's world stopped. I forgive you for not loving me the way I wanted. I forgive you for the loneliness, the pain, the years of being invisible. Lily's voice was clear, strong. I forgive you because holding on to anger was killing me, and our daughter deserves better than a bitter mother. I don't deserve your forgiveness. Probably not. But I'm not giving it for you. I'm giving it for me, so I can move forward. Lily stood, moved to the window. But forgiveness isn't reconciliation, David. I can forgive you and still not want to be with you. David felt his heart crack. I understand, do you? Because you came here hoping to win me back. You brought grand gestures and learned facts about me and think that's enough. Lily turned to face him. But David, I don't need you to know my favorite color. I need you to understand why cornflower blue makes me feel confident, because it's the color of the dress I wore when my father told me I could change the world. Tell me, David urged. Tell me everything. Not so I can win you back, but so I can know you. Really know you. And so Lily told him. She told him about growing up watching her father work in their garage, building prototypes, dreaming of changing the world. About how her mother grew bitter watching those dreams consume him, watching their money drain into patents and prototypes that never sold. She left when I was 17, Lily said, staring out the window. Said she couldn't watch him fail anymore. A year later, Chen Industries came after his patent. He thought finally someone saw value in his work. He didn't realize they were going to bury him. Lily, I'm so sorry. Let me finish. Lily's voice was firm. I watched my father lose everything. his savings, his house, his hope. And I was 19, helpless, angry. When I found him in the garage, car running, I blamed myself. If I'd been smarter, richer, more capable, maybe I could have saved him. David's throat closed with grief. So I made a plan. I'd become everything he wasn't: educated, connected, strategic. I'd infiltrate Chen Industries from the inside. I'd destroy you the way your family destroyed him. Lily laughed bitterly. Except I couldn't do it. Because you weren't a monster. You were just a man, broken and lost, and despite everything, I loved you. That must have torn you apart. It did. Every day. Lily turned to face him. Loving you while planning your destruction. Protecting you from Marcus while stealing from you. Building your empire while documenting everything to bring it down. I was at war with myself for 5 years, David. And you never even noticed. I noticed, David said quietly. I noticed how you'd look at me sometimes like you were memorizing my face. I noticed how you'd flinch when I thanked you for something, like gratitude hurt. I noticed the sadness in your eyes when you thought no one was watching. He stood, moving closer. I noticed everything and told myself I was imagining it because acknowledging it meant acknowledging I was destroying you. Lily's breath hitched. I was a coward, David continued. I hid behind Marina's memory, behind work, behind coldness. I let you love me and gave you nothing back because it was safer than risking my heart again. He stopped a few feet away, close enough to see the tears on her lashes. But Lily, I'm not hiding anymore. I love you. I've loved you for 5 years, and I'll love you for the rest of my life, whether you want me to or not. David. I'm not asking you to come back. I'm not asking you to forgive me beyond what you've already generously given. I'm just asking you to let me be part of Hope's life. Let me be the father she deserves, even if I can never be the husband you deserved. Lily wiped her eyes. You really mean that? You'd accept just being her father? If that's all you can give me, then yes. It's more than I deserve anyway. They stood in silence, the bookshop quiet around them, the afternoon sun streaming through the windows. Finally, Lily spoke. I need time, David. I need to figure out who I am without you, who I am as a mother, who I want to be. This last year has been about healing, and I'm not done yet. Take all the time you need. I'll wait. What if I decide I don't want a romantic relationship? What if friendship is all I can offer? Then I'll be grateful for your friendship, David said honestly. You've given me so much already, my company's integrity, my father's legacy redeemed, a daughter. I have no right to ask for more. 6 months later. Hope Rose Chen was born on a rainy Tuesday in April, weighing 7 pounds, 3 ounces, with her mother's determined chin and her father's dark eyes. David was there. Not in the delivery room, Lily wasn't ready for that level of intimacy. But he was in the waiting room, pacing for 12 hours, until a nurse finally brought him in to meet his daughter. She's perfect, he whispered, staring at the tiny bundle in Lily's arms. She's loud, Lily said with exhausted affection. She's been screaming for the last 20 minutes. Here, you try. She handed Hope to David, and the moment his daughter settled into his arms, something inside him healed. A piece he hadn't known was broken suddenly made whole. Hello, Hope, he murmured. I'm your daddy. I'm going to do better for you than I did for your mother. That's a promise. Hope yawned, grabbed his finger with her tiny fist, and fell asleep. Lily watched them, her expression unreadable. The months that followed were a careful dance. David bought a house 3 blocks from Lily's, close enough to help, far enough to give her space. He came over every morning at 6 a.m. for the early feeding, giving Lily a chance to shower and eat. He changed diapers, learned lullabies, walked Hope around the block in her stroller while Lily napped. He never asked for more. Never pushed. Never tried to recreate what they'd had. Instead, he got to know her. He learned that Lily sang off-key but didn't care, that she cried at diaper commercials but laughed at her own jokes. That she was terrified of failing as a mother and brilliant at it anyway. That she'd named her bookshop New Chapters because she believed everyone deserved a second chance at their story. Even me? He'd asked once, while they sat on her porch watching the sunset, Hope sleeping between them. You're writing a new chapter every day, David. A better one. He learned that healing wasn't linear. Some days, Lily would laugh with him, touch his arm, let him stay for dinner. Other days, she'd be distant, reminded of old hurts, needing space. He gave her space. He learned patience. He learned that love wasn't about grand gestures or perfect words. It was about showing up. Being present. Changing diapers at 3 a.m. Bringing soup when she had a cold. Listening when she needed to talk. Sitting in comfortable silence when words weren't necessary. He learned what it meant to truly love someone, not the idea of them, not the convenience of them, but the reality of them, flaws and strength and everything between. 1 year after Hope's birth, on a sunny afternoon in the bookshop, David asked Lily a question. Not the question she might have expected. Will you tell me about your father? Not the tragedy, not the patent case. Just, who he was? Lily looked up from sorting books, surprise flickering across her face. Then, slowly, she smiled. He was funny. Terrible at jokes, but he'd laugh so hard at his own punchlines that you couldn't help but laugh with him. Her eyes grew soft with memory. He'd dance with me in the garage while he worked, spinning me around between soldering connections. He believed that the best inventions came from joy, not pressure. He sounds wonderful. He was. Lily sat down, pulled Hope onto her lap. He would have loved her. Would have built her ridiculous toys and taught her to question everything. We could tell her stories about him. Keep his memory alive. We? Lily's voice was careful. David knelt down in front of them, but not in proposal, just meeting them at eye level, equal. Lily, I've spent the last 18 months learning how to be a good father. Learning how to be a good man. Learning how to be your friend. He took a breath. I'm not asking you to marry me. I'm not asking you to love me. I'm asking if you'd consider letting me earn my way back into your heart. Slowly. Carefully. With no expectations and no pressure. David. I'm asking if we can date. Real dates, like people who are getting to know each other. Movies and dinners and awkward conversations. I want to court you, Lily. The way I should have from the beginning. Lily stared at him, tears gathering in her eyes. You want to date me? I want to learn who you are now, not who you were when I was too blind to see. I want you to learn who I've become. And maybe, if we're lucky, we'll find our way to something new. Something better than what we had. And if we don't? If we try and it doesn't work, then we stay friends. Co-parents. People who care about each other and want the best for our daughter. David's voice was steady. I'm not going anywhere, Lily. Whether you love me or not, whether we're together or not, I'm committed to being in your life, in Hope's life, in whatever capacity you'll allow. Lily was crying now, full tears streaming down her face. You've really changed. You changed me. You and Hope. David smiled. You showed me what real love looks like, patient, selfless, enduring. I just wish I'd learned it sooner. Maybe we needed those 5 years, Lily said softly. Maybe I needed to leave to find myself. Maybe you needed to lose me to appreciate what you had. Maybe, David agreed. Or maybe we're just two broken people learning how to heal together. Hope grabbed David's finger, babbling happily. Lily laughed through her tears. She likes you. I like her too. And her mother. David's eyes were soft. So what do you say, Lily Rose Parker Chin? Will you let me take you to dinner? Somewhere nice, with candles and wine and conversation that doesn't involve diaper changes? Lily pretended to think about it. Will you pay? Absolutely. Will you open doors and pull out chairs and do all those old-fashioned romantic things? Every single one. And if I decide I just want to be friends? Then I'll be the best friend you've ever had. Lily looked at him, really looked at him. Saw the sincerity in his eyes, the patience in his posture, the love written across every feature. Saw the man he'd become, the father he was, the partner he could be. Okay, she whispered. Let's try. David's smile was sunshine breaking through clouds. Yeah? Yeah. Lily leaned forward, pressed a soft kiss to his cheek. But David? If you hurt me again, I won't. I swear on Hope's life, on your father's memory, on everything I am, I won't hurt you again. You can't promise that. People hurt each other. It's part of loving someone. Then I promise to try. To communicate. To show up. To choose you, every single day, in ways big and small. David took her hand gently. I promise to be worthy of the second chance you're giving me. 2 years later. The bookshop was packed with people, friends, family, Hope toddling between legs in a tiny blue dress. She's got the whole room wrapped around her finger, Helen Chen said, watching her granddaughter charm everyone in sight. Just like her mother. Lily laughed, one hand resting on her growing belly, 7 months pregnant with their second child, a boy they'd already decided to name James. She gets that from her father, actually. David's quite charming when he wants to be. Only because you taught me how, David said, sliding an arm around her waist. Everything good about me, I learned from you. Everything? Lily teased. Even your terrible sense of direction? Especially that. I was completely lost until you showed me the way. They'd been married for 6 months, a small ceremony, surrounded by love and the family they'd built from ashes. David had proposed properly this time, on one knee in the same spot where Lily had told him she'd give him a chance. I know I don't deserve you, he'd said, ring in hand. I know I hurt you, failed you, made you invisible when you should have been my everything. But Lily, you taught me that people can change. That broken things can be mended. That love isn't about perfection, it's about choosing each other, every day, even when it's hard. She'd said yes. Not because she'd forgotten the pain. Not because those 5 years of loneliness had disappeared. But because she'd learned that love wasn't about perfect people, it was about imperfect people committed to growing together. Welcome to the Story Pocket Tales. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and comment. Now let's dive back into the story.